Daytime, just here with the tow truck. Yoink. And there's my beautiful non-driving LR3. Actually just tried it. It went into reverse and drive. Well, it went into reverse okay, and then drive it was falling in and out. So just playing it's safe and gonna get it home the 6 miles that she needs to go. But yeah, there she is in all of its glory. So yeah, last night after messing around, it seems like the transmission is leaking a lot of fluid. There's a big old puddle underneath it in multiple spots. So I'm hoping it's just a low fluid thing. It's like the torque converter isn't locking up. So yeah, we're gonna get her home and be doing some diagnosis. Okay, so tonight we will be getting under this LR3 and check out the situation underneath, see what we're dealing with. There's a little bit of a puddle of fluid under there I'll be showing you, and we'll just kind of hunt around and see what we can find. All right, so we're under the LR3 here. It's been here a little over 24 hours now. I've got some oil leakage going on. There's a spot right there. There's one right there also. This cross member is pretty oily, I'd say. You can see some drippage right here. Oh, there it is. Pretty dark. Doesn't smell like motor oil. Definitely transmission fluid. It is just coated down here. I mean, everything is shiny. It seems like this muffler is covered in oil. This frame rail, all through here. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoot a little bit forward. Right now we're looking at the transfer case, electronic transfer case. Got my 5-year-old son playing light man for me. And yeah, overnight we've got some oil that seeped onto that exhaust pipe there. If I move a little bit further, some drippage. Yeah, going back there, nothing looks fresh there. There's some drippage. So yeah, it's leaking pretty good. Let's see, appears to be leaking on that O2 sensor. I did have an O2 low voltage code. I wonder if that has something to do with it. And then back here, let's see if I can see back here a little bit better. So see the colored wires right there? That is the infamous mechatronics sleeve that tends to go to leak on these. And I see some oil definitely on it that high up. I have a feeling that's my culprit right there. You know, the transmission pan, it's underneath the heat shield here. I'm gonna start tearing this apart, the pan and all of that fun stuff, and see if see what we're dealing with. See if there's metal shavings in there. So far, my plan is right now is that I'll order a solenoid kit. We'll get a metal pan with a separate filter. Thanks, bud. Can you scoot back, please? And the new fluid, of course. I'm gonna go Redline. It's cheaper. They say it's. Reading through the forums, it says that it's just as good as the ZF fluid, and it's like 2/3 the price. So and especially since I don't know the condition of the transmission, I figured that if I end up having to scrap this project, I'm only in it with the solenoids and the filters and the fluid. About $260 for the solenoids. The other parts came to about 120, so about $400. So not too terrible. So that I'm just trying to save where I can in case I have to dump this and get a used transmission and switch the mechatronics over or something. So cool. Well, yeah, so I'm going to sign off for a moment and take this apart. Check this out. I'm taking out the heat shield here. Get oriented correctly. And I took this screw out, and look. This is just a pool of fluid right there. Yeah. All right, we are draining. Got the heat shields off. And now we are Draining, beautiful. So, I don't know, looking at this fluid that's coming out, it's pretty black. Not the best color, I'd say. Let's see, I can take a peek in here. It's pretty dark. Let's see, my finger's pretty cool. Yeah, it's about the color of the fluid that's coming out already. Yeah, it looks like there was still a fair bit of fluid in there, but I'd imagine that these things get pretty finicky when even it's just that low. So, I'm a little optimistic that it wasn't crazy low, that it caused damage. It may have just like known that it was low and wasn't going to engage the torque converter if it didn't have enough fluid, or the solenoids were starving, or the pumps, or what have you. So, crossing my fingers, it's just that. That'd be so awesome. Because, yeah, I looked at reman transmissions. You're looking at, I don't know, $5,000, not including labor. And I could find a used one for like $1,200, I guess, and that'd probably be the cheaper way to go. If I rebuilt the mechatronics on this, keep the old internals, maybe, I don't know, maybe I could take a stab at trying to rebuild the transmission or something, but I really don't want to go there. I don't have a proper lift to pull a tranny out. I'd probably just have to pay somebody to do it. So I really don't want to do that, because I'd rather buy some sweet accessories for this thing. Got big plans for her. I just need a working transmission. Okay, well, we got the transmission pan off. It was difficult, to say the least. I mean, not difficult. It was just very tedious. My fingers kind of hurt from, squeezing in there and so forth. I had to make a stubby Torx in order to, because there's cross members that sit on each side of that transmission pan, and I had to squeeze this guy up in there. Couldn't do it with the standard Torx, so I had to punch it out and then Dremel it off, and I got just the right length there. I was able to get all 21 of those T40 Torx bits out. Then I had to use a saw blade, which is MIA at the moment, but I just used a finer toothed one than this guy. I put some tape on it, just had to back and forth. That was also very tedious, and my hands hate me. So let's take a look at the pan itself. And here's the snorkel that I had to saw off in order to clear underneath. Here's the magnets that would catch any debris, any shavings. So all I'm seeing here is just very fine. It doesn't even feel that rough, just kind of standard, like what you would find on, when you're just doing a standard oil change. There's no major, I don't feel any filings in here. So that's a really good sign. Very optimistic about there not being any major mechanical issues with this transmission. Yeah, so there's that snorkel. Of course, you've got plastic shavings that I just did. But yeah, I've got that snorkel done. Here's, this is the original filter. All my sawing attempts actually didn't do too bad there. I just got, mad at then broke the rest of it off because it was painful. And of course, as soon as I broke it off, I spilled tranny fluid everywhere. I got it all over my vintage sweatshirt, just right on top of my chest. Yeah, if we take a look under here, there she blows, our 6 HP 26 ZF transmission. We're looking at the valve body and mechatronics unit that sits underneath the transmission gearing, and those colored things are the solenoids. And what we're going to be doing next is taking off that whole valve body assembly. There's a handful of T40 Torx bolts, that valve body will drop down, and I will be replacing the seals that run between the valve body and the actual case of the transmission. Those tend to get hard and over time and lose their sealing capability, and that could be a potential culprit of our issues. Yeah, so I'm as far as I can get before I head out of town for Christmas break. Come the new year, I'm going to have a slew of parts waiting for me, new solenoids, new sleeve seal, new seals between the valve body and the transmission, improved metal pan with the separate filter, so next time I have to do this job, I don't have to bust out the saw. It should be a little bit easier. But yeah, overall, you know, my hands are already feeling better, but yeah, some tight spaces you can see with the cross members right on the other side of, you know, on each end of that transmission pan. Really tight clearance there, but we're able to persevere. Definitely couldn't have gotten the clearance in the back without jacking up the transfer case. So I did remove a bolt in the back. Let's see, where are you? Yeah, so right there, that guy. So take that bolt out, and I'm able to jack up that whole transfer case, which lifts up the transmission just enough on the backside so I can fit that improvised T40 Torx back there. So, all right, until the new year, I'll be back, Mr. ZF.